Today on the show, we have the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by laughingplace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on August 21st, 2024, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. So much news from D23, the ultimate Disney fan event.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
And today I'm bringing in Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com at the top of the show because there is so much flippin' D23 news to talk about. And Kyle, you just need to be here for it all. So welcome.
Well, first of all, thank you. It was great to see you at the expo. That's the top story, was that we got to hang out for at least a few minutes.
We got real life hugs. I love real life hugs. I'm a hugger. Are you a hugger?
Yeah, I think I'd qualify myself as that.
I'm an in general hugger. Like, I like hugging people, even people I don't know super well. I like a good embrace. And these days, I'm
not going to make any jokes about this.
Well, it's a Lassiter joke, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like really kind of, you have to be cautious about it these days. And it makes me sad because it's a hug. Like, it's just love, man. But whatever. I digress. How was your D23?
It was pretty good. We had the Laughing Place booth, like I said. I hung out there almost the entire time. I did get to go to the Disney Lorcana panel, which was a lot of fun. I also had my own little desk inside of the Laughing Place booth.
Where desk you were trapped in, basically.
Basically, yeah, because we always have a bunch of stuff going on. So yeah, I was editing videos and writing articles all while at the booth. But, honestly, I think I prefer that because the one panel I did go to, it worked out for me pretty well. But the stress of having to get in line for however early, not knowing if you're going to get in and all of that and going through regular. I heard you guys said security was fine, but still it's not quite as nice as being able to walk to the staff entrance as I get to do as an exhibitor. So I like this kind of half and half where I still get to go to the the Ultimate Disney Fan event, see everybody, kind of take in the environment, but then also have keep it at arm's length.
Yeah, one thing to note is the section that anything that is not official Disney goes in is called the Emporium. Mm-hmm. And noticeably, the Emporium was considerably smaller than it's ever been in the past, which was a little surprising. This is the place where, there are shops selling off old Disney merch or Laughing Place promoting the website or whatever.
We don't really fit in, but it is what it is.
Well, it's just interesting to see how much that whole area shrunk. And, I don't know if that's, to be fair, the show floor had more than it's ever had because Hall D23 wasn't there. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if this is a trend that continues, if it's Disney kind of not wanting that to exist. But in any case, I'm glad you were there for 2024. It's always good to see you. And shall we jump into some news?
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to start with parks stuff, which was the second big event at the Honda Center. So let's get into that. The first thing we got going on is that a Coco ride is coming to Disney California Adventure. This was something that I don't ever even remember hearing a rumor about this. The only rumors I ever heard about a Coco ride was for Epcot in the Mexico Pavilion. Had you ever heard about a possible Coco ride coming to the Disneyland Resort?
I don't think so. And if there were going to be one, I would have almost thought that would be at the other park where you kind of have that in that part of Frontierland.
Yeah, when they could put it in the rivers of America.
No, they can't touch that one because ours actually does stuff.
Fantastic. That's true. It's very, very true.
The other one doesn't do anything. Spoiler alert. I don't care about that closely.
We'll get into Rivers of America and Magic Kingdom a bit later on, but definitely, this was exciting news to me. I really love Coco. I say it all the time. I love it so much. I have not seen it nearly enough times, but I really love it. I love the music. I love the characters. It's a great movie. Looks like this is going to be a boat ride. Even more reason to think that this might eventually head to Mexico and Epcot, but yeah, I don't know. This was really out of left field for me and an absolute delight to find out about.
Yeah, and Josh confirmed it's going to have audio animatronics. And the only downside is that they're not even going to start breaking ground until 2026. So it's going to be quite a while before we actually get to experience this. But he still said that this is the first one. So yeah, it could eventually come to Epcot, but if it does, it's not going to be for a decade at this point.
Any guesses as to where this might go, in your opinion?
I mean, not really. And I think because of the way they're going to be able to put things in different places, I don't think it's, I don't think you necessarily need to think in those specific terms like, oh, this is replacing this, or this will be an extension off of this. I think hopefully they can really bust things open and just use it wherever and call it California Adventure. Find a way to connect to California Adventure.
Maybe. I would assume they want to connect it to Pixar Pier, right?
Well, I mean, if they're sticking to their California theme, they should put it south so it could be like Baja California. But we all know that they're not sticking to that at all. So especially with another story we'll get to, which is why I'm starting a petition, # name change now.
Yeah, just as long as it's better than Disney Adventure World.
Okay, it's not going to be. Never mind. Keep the name. Great name.
Good name. But, you know what, before we go any further, I would like to mention the way that they started this panel was so good. Did you see the videos of the Soarin' thing that they put together?
Yeah, I saw Caitlin Robrock. How do you say her name?
Yep.
Robrock? Yeah.
Caitlin Robrock. Yep, Minnie Mouse.
Which, I wanted... We were talking about how it seemed like it was cast members. I'm going to give them a slight pass and operate under the assumption that they did have a group that they were shooting with this, but then also had real guests. I hope that that's true, because I have heard from some people who were apparently guests and were surprised.
Yeah, 100% that's what happened. So rewind a little bit. We talked about the whole Soarin' sort of thing with Patrick Warburton. That was simply a social media video. And come to find out, it was assumedly shot on this same day. We know that there were some real guests because a listener wrote in telling us that they were part of it and surprised. And then Caitlin Robrock, we did see in that social media video, and that was why I thought, oh, this was a whole plant sort of thing. By the way, I did see Caitlin right at the end of Expo, and it was nice to see her. But I love that this existed. And one thing we got from this that was kind of new news is, of course, we got Patrick Warburton back from the original cast of that pre-show, or the pre-show video. We also got the Mickey Ears guy back, and it was the original guy. And I love how the nerdy Disney crowd just applauded and freaked out over that. It was so wonderful. And also there's a full orchestra on stage, which was pretty cool.
Which would be better, though, getting the original guy back or getting Jason Alexander, because a lot of people thought it was Jason Alexander in the original video?
No, I'd be sad. Honestly, if it were Jason Alexander, I would just be like, no, get this guy back. Get him back. And I just picture those moments. I mean, he's not a famous guy. He's a guy who probably, wanted a bigger acting career and somehow ended up in this video, might have even moved on, did have nothing to do with the show business anymore. Who knows? But I just love the idea of getting a call, 23 years later, and being like, so we have this day gig. And that's just, to become iconic in a theme park pre-show, I think it's just a fun idea. And yeah, I love it. So I love that they did that. But anyway, so that's the news about Coco. Coco is coming to Disney California Adventure, as you said, breaking ground in 2026, right?
Yeah, a lot of these we didn't get opening timeframes for. We got starting timeframes for.
And we should say that Josh D'Amaro did make it very clear that everything they told us about is in active development, unlike the blue sky thing that we went through a couple of years ago. So that's great news. Just keep in mind that doesn't mean 100% definite. It just means active development, which is, far better than the whole blue sky thing.
We talked about you can go listen to episode number, insert number here, to hear us talk about canceled D23 projects that were announced at D23 that never made it to reality.
Yeah. Let me look it up real quickly because I know exactly where I can find it. Let me see. I'll go to my handy dandy D23 convention podcast playlist over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com and D23 Expo announcements that haven't come to fruition, episode 919. So, yes, there were a lot of things announced as moving forward at a previous expo that, didn't. So that's always a fun conversation, too. But hopefully, Coco Ride, I'm going to say yes, definitely. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from there, we got more details on the Avatar Land coming to Disney California Adventure, which will include a massive boat ride inspired by the second and third Avatar films. I'm hearing, tell me if you've heard this, I'm hearing same ride system as Shanghai Disneyland Pirates.
I have heard this rumor.
I love that
I cannot
rumor.
confirm this rumor because I honestly have no idea, but I like this rumor. I hope that that's true.
Yes, me as well. That would be really, really good. Guests will be able to venture further into Pandora with a new destination at Disney California Adventure. Once again, rumors flying. Where's this going? I've heard this is going to take over Hollywoodland, but once again, just rumors. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they say this attraction or this land would really depend on whether or not Disneyland Forward moved forward?
Yeah,
so if that's the case, yeah, I would think it's going beyond the berm, right?
I would think so. Yeah, there's all sorts of stupid rumors going around right now. I don't think if they're going to replace something, they're going to replace something that is not worthwhile, and it's going to be like an ancillary thing. I don't think it's. People are talking about Grizzly Peak Airfield. I don't see why you would do that.
Yeah, I don't think if they're gonna put it in an area, just looking at the amount of land, I assume they would need. Hollywoodland does make sense. They've got, a couple of empty sound stages there that really aren't anything. They've got the Monsters Inc. ride, which I guess could go away. It's doing pretty well these days because of Lightning Lane, but before Lightning Lane existed, that was pretty much a walk on. The only other thing there really is Mickey's PhilharMagic. You might be able to keep the animation building. I don't know, but I could see it going there.
That's been the animation building's also been pretty neutered over the years.
Yeah, that certainly has, and of course the Hyperion sits there empty most of the time, but hopefully that changes. We'll see. But in any case, Pandora or Avatar is coming to Disney California Adventure, so that's
cool concept art. If it lives up to half of that, it'll be at least a cool area to look at.
Yeah, looking at the concept art, it does look like stuff that, is not going to be animatronics. It's going to be screen projection stuff. So with that in mind, that does fit into the rumor of the Pirates of the Caribbean Shanghai ride system. So.
Which does have a lot of practical sets and stuff too.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at this giant whale-like creature coming out of the water and being like, okay, that's not going to be an audio animatronics figure.
As long as we get those Pandoran otters or whatever that were in the first concept art, I'll be happy.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to Avengers Campus because we got 2 new attractions coming to Avengers Campus. That was a nice little surprise as well. The new details were revealed for the 3rd Avengers Campus attraction, the first 2, of course, being Web Slingers and Mission Breakout.
Can I tell you that it took me an embarrassingly long time to be like, wait, fourth attraction? What are you talking about? Because I consistently forget that they annexed Mission Breakout.
Yeah, it does feel like it's... I get where you're coming from. Mission Breakout opened so long before Avengers Campus did that they kind of just shoehorned it in. But, it is a Marvel thing, and...
No, it's fair, but it just slips my mind. I'm just like, no, there's just web slingers.
And let's face it is the better of the 2 current attractions, so there is that. At least I think so. I think that's kind of a given these days. Most people, other than Robert Scontrino's son, who is listening to the show right now, and that kid loves web slingers, I'll tell you. Anyway, let's move on because the name of the attraction, let's see, it's going to be a multi-world adventure experience called Avengers Infinity Defense. Ooh.
Formerly known as the King Thanos ride after the last time it was called Expo. After the 2022 Expo, people just kind of colloquially called it the King Thanos ride because they revealed that King Thanos would be a part of it.
They're saying technology that allows the Avengers to jump between worlds has gone missing, and King Thanos is using it to wreak havoc everywhere. Recruits will travel to iconic locations like Asgard, Wakanda, and New York City, alongside the likes of big and small heroes. You also just might find yourself face-to-face with King Thanos, too. I think that also might. I think that's probably a guarantee.
Well, I guess it could be one of those things where there's multiple storylines, so there's a chance you might not.
I guarantee.
Okay.
I would be
All right,
shocked.
Mr. Men's Warehouse, he guarantees it.
Weird. That was a weird little connection, but I appreciate it, Kyle. Anyway, this is going to be built behind the current Avengers headquarter building, which is mostly just a facade in that little store, correct? I think it's just like cast member parking back there at this point.
Probably, yeah. It was funny when they were, if you'll remember, when they were building the store, they're like, this is not for that third attraction. We're just building a little store.
Yeah. So there's that. And then a fourth attraction, Stark Flight Lab, has also been announced, which I think this really shocked me because I know we've been waiting for news about the third attraction for a long time. So to get two announcements was pretty exciting. And this one, definitely a much simpler ride.
Simpler and not for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the Kuka arm technology, which we know and love from Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey over
Or
at Universal
the Sum
Studios.
of All Thrills.
What is the Sum of All Thrills?
It was an attraction in Innoventions at Epcot.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I never did it. Yeah, so this could get a little intense, I guess, or a little vomity, I guess, depending. But the Kuka arms are cool. I enjoy them. I think they're fun. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. It's Stark Flight Lab will put guests in two-person pods and deploy them to a test station. From there, a robot arm will grab the pod and will whirl around in a simulated flight. See, that's the thing. If it's just like spin you in circles, so that kind of stuff, that doesn't interest me. If there's scenic elements and story and, you know, if it's more than a quote-unquote flat ride, as they call them in traditional amusement parks, this, you know, it's definitely not an e-ticket sort of thing, but it is bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. So weren't we just talking about this? I was like, he's probably not gone forever as Tony Stark when they announced him as Dr. Doom or whatever Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that they're doing this because, you know, there's cohesion between Hong Kong's Stark Expo and Paris's Avengers Campus and California's Avengers Campus. And in both of those areas, they have an Iron Man, but it's not Robert Downey Jr. It sounds, you know, close enough. So then to have a real Robert Downey Jr. over here is actually kind of weird. It breaks the continuity that they've built between these. And I'm sure it was not cheap. So I don't know how I feel. I was perfectly fine with the fake Iron Man.
Although him and Bob Iger certainly seem like besties when they show those photos of them testing this ride out. So who knows? Maybe it was a favor he did.
Could be.
Oh, my goodness. Let's move on to what I consider to be maybe the most exciting news that came out of this panel, and that is the fact that a new Walt Disney show is coming to the Main Street Opera House at Disneyland Resort. Now, this will be called Walt Disney: A Magical Life, and it's featuring the first ever Walt Disney Audio-Animatronics figure. The show will transport guests into his office to experience a sit-down with the legendary figure. And after the show's initial run in the Main Street Opera House, the show will then play in rotation with great moments with Mr. Lincoln. Kyle.
Jeffrey.
If you could have seen me when this was announced, I was so happy.
Was there more of a gasp from this or from a Monster Jam?
Honestly, Monster Jam a really, really big gasp for me, and we'll get into that. But in this panel, this was more of like a wow, like sort of thing. The other one was like a shock, like this was a wow. And something, honestly, I wrote an article about this in 2020 for Attractions Magazine. Should there be a Walt Disney Audio-Animatronics figure? I've honestly always felt there should be, if you're going to, you know, do the quote unquote hologram like they've done. And they just use video of him and, you know, his speeches a lot. I don't see why this is blasphemous, why this step is, that's too far. I know some people feel that way. I just don't get that. And if people are like, well, Walt would never want it, I'm like, well, Walt wouldn't want the partner statue either, according to a lot of people. So I'm all for it. And in Disneyland Park, out of anywhere where it belongs there.
You know, rotating with a show that features an audio animatronic that Walt wanted to to show someone that he thought was great.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Actually, I've heard that the Walt never wanted to be an audio animatronic. That's actually a lyric that was written for Horizons. That's not actually something that he said. So that's a fun fact.
Are you joking or are you serious?
I'm completely joking. That's a joke about if you can dream it, then you can do it.
You can do it. Okay. I was like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited about this. Does this excite you?
Yeah. I think it's exciting. I don't know if exciting is the right word. It's not something I'm like, not at the top of my list, but I'm totally fine with it. I don't think it's blasphemy, kind of like what you're saying. And I guess excited is the right word. The more I think about it. And I do like that Lincoln staying around too. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it does sound like for a period of time it'll be just Walt, maybe during the 70th.
Kind of like they do with the Star Tours.
Yeah. My guess is for all of the 70th celebration, they'll keep Walt around. And then they say alternate. Now, alternate doesn't necessarily mean 50-50 because, they alternate, quote unquote, the Beauty and the Beast sing-along over in the France Pavilion with Impressions de la France. Is that what it's called? De France. And I think Impressions is down to like 1 or 2 a day, like just at the end of the day sort of thing. So, alternate, we'll find out what that means. If the Walt thing is popular, it makes sense. But I'm also happy. Lincoln is very historically significant. And I'm glad it's not going away entirely. I'll be curious to see how they use the space. I assume Walt's just going to be in front of a curtain that Lincoln is behind, and then the Walt thing can just scoot off stage. That's my guess. I am hoping that they use audio of his and, piece stuff together. I would prefer that over a sound-alike or AI.
There was a report that that's what, or at least archival footage and audio recordings are being used to some degree. So that'd be my guess, is that'll be mostly what it is.
Very cool. Excellent. So that is coming. That'll be here for the 70th, right? So in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. We got an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, as well as a renaming of Critter Country, which I've been kind of begging for. So the news about the renaming got a little bit lost because this was part of a song that was performed to announce a bunch of news. And honestly, the only reason I caught it was because I was reading the teleprompter because I couldn't understand the singing. And I know a lot of people thought it was just kind of a joke in the song lyrics. I'm like, no, they're changing the name of Critter Country.
It was on the poster that they were showing.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Oh yeah, it says at the bottom, Bayou Country. You're right. So it's called Bayou Country, which just makes me question what's going on with Winnie the Pooh.
It mentions it explicitly that it's staying.
I don't think that's wise.
Whatever.
Like, why rename? To me,
I don't know.
Then just keep it Critter Country. They should have just expanded
New Orleans Square.
Yeah. I would have loved, a New Orleans Square back Bayou or whatever. But whatever. It's Bayou Country, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, opening on November 15th of this year. So coming up around the corner. It'll be here in time for the holidays.
I'm disappointed that you couldn't hear the lyrics very well to that song, because I really liked the idea, and I'm a big Darren Criss stan, so that's probably part of it. But I thought that that was a fun idea, at least, was to have that announcement song.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best way to announce stuff.
Well, they were small things.
Yeah, but when the whole purpose of the presentation is to announce new parks news, I feel like that should be the priority over a shtick.
But but they were breaking up the show with with songs anyway.
Yes, they were.
So I think
certainly
that fit both of their goals, which is to make it, they had more of an arena. They kind of did the same thing with Legends too, where they made it more of a spectacle by bringing extra celebrities in and making it a bigger thing to fit the room. I feel
like Legends was pretty on par to what we got in the one that felt really huge and like crazy insane budget and guests was the Parks one. The movies one and the Legends one felt pretty on par in my opinion.
I haven't been to Legends in a minute, but the Legends, as I remember, it would just be like one host kind of announcing them, or like Bob Iger kind of reading a thing and then showing the video package and having the legend. So having the additional celebrities introduce them and all that stuff, that felt like another level to me. But
yeah,
we're way
maybe.
off topic.
I can't remember, to be completely honest, but I don't know, it just didn't feel crazy. This show felt crazy. It was wild. But anyway, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening in the winter here in Southern California. Yeah, I guess not technically the winter. It's still the fall when it opens. And it'll probably be a little toasty, but I actually like the fact that it's opening not in the summer because we all know it's going to be crazy long lines anyway to begin with. But perhaps it'll dissuade some people from like not wanting to get wet during that time of year. But we'll see. And it also looks like Davy Crockett's Explorer canoes will be sticking around as well as part of this land. So, yeah, many adventures of Winnie the Pooh and Davy Crockett's.
Call them Prince Naveen's Explorer canoes, or
no? What's
Lewis's?
What's the Firefly's name?
Ray.
Ray's Explorer canoes. Moving on from there, we are getting a new mission featuring the Mandalorian and Grogu coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. The beloved characters will be coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in anticipation of their big screen debut in 2026. That's right, they're getting a big screen movie. They didn't explicitly state this, but it's most likely going to be for Disney's Hollywood Studios and Disneyland Park. And, you know, this is an attraction that I think could definitely use some iconic characters. We all know Mandalorian and Grogu are very, very, very popular characters that can certainly help this attraction. And I guess it'll probably be just this, right? This isn't going to be a rotating thing like Star Tours does.
I would hope that it's this at first, but then does go into a rotation, because this feels like an attraction meant to have multiple different things going on. Like, there are actually technically different versions. Like, I've seen it go long and things like that. But yeah, I would hope that they not only add this one to a rotation, but create some other rotations, because it has the potential for that. And kind of like Toy Story, I think we got spoiled by the fact that they updated Toy Story Midway Mania like right away, or relatively right away, and then just haven't touched it for a decade. And I don't understand why. There's so much potential there for overlays rather.
Yeah, there definitely is potential. I feel like that's kind of I guess a difficult spot for Imagineers and stuff. When it comes to any screen-based attraction, there is kind of the assumption of, oh, that's an easy update. And, you know, it is an easier update, but it's not an easy update. But yes, you're right. The amount of time that Toy Story Midway Mania has existed, we should be having some holiday versions at this point. Remember Toy Story of Terror?
Yeah.
That was fun. I wouldn't mind some Toy Story. Or if Sid took over the attraction, oh my gosh. That'd be tough, though, because we are in Andy's bedroom, right? Or, yeah. So that'd be a little tougher, but it would still be cool.
I don't know. Why is Woody with the gang in Toy Story 5? Who knows?
Who knows? We will soon find out. We will soon find out. And by soon, I mean several years from now. But we got a logo reveal for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. Unfortunately, that's kind of all we got, was that and the Walt Disney thing. Apparently, there's a lot of Disneyland 70th news to come out still, but not too much of it was announced at D23, which seems a little weird simply because it was the closest thing to open. You'd think they would have all that stuff set to announce.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows why they do what they do? Gotta have Plain White Tees play a song instead.
I was happy to see the Plain White Tees. Random, completely random, but just as a Plain White Tees fan, I was like, okay, if I got to see random music acts, this is what I haven't seen them in forever. I saw them on the Bonnie Hunt show. I went to multiple tapings of the Bonnie Hunt show. I really liked the Bonnie Hunt show. I've met Bonnie Hunt. I met Bonnie Hunt when John Lasseter was getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is one of two people I've gone out of my way to see get a star. And she was there, and she came over, and she was lovely, and she was very flirty, as she is with everybody. And she signed a page in a Disney book I have featuring Cars. And I love Bonnie Hunt. I think she's great. Anyway, did you know she's in Cars?
Yeah.
Cool. How did we get on the Bonnie Hunt thing? Oh, Plain White Tees. That's right. I saw the Plain White Tees on her show.
Episode.
Wonderful. Now for the news that made the crowd lose their minds just when we thought it was all over. We got a little interruption by the Magic Mirror, who announced that a Villain's Land is coming to Magic Kingdom, complete with 2 new attractions. A darkness is about to fall over Magic Kingdom as the long-rumored Villains Land has finally been announced for Walt Disney World. Of course, this started at the last D23 Expo when they were doing their whole blue sky. What might be beyond Big Thunder Mountain? They mentioned possibly villains. I believe another thing was Encanto, right? Isn't that what they mentioned?
Yeah, so the projects blend in my mind, but I believe they said Coco, Encanto, and villains, and then Encanto moved over to the Tropical Americas part. So yeah.
Which at one point was going to possibly be Moana.
Yeah, but then, she's got such a killer attraction at Epcot.
Yeah, they're like, she's got enough. But yeah, so things have shuffled. So, they might have space for even another thing back there in the future. Who knows? Because they were talking about like 3 different area possibilities. I don't think they were I don't remember them saying, it's going to be one of these 3, but who knows? What we know is the villains are coming. I mean, this one better be a guarantee simply because of the reaction from the crowd. This was the reaction I wanted the whole time. Of course, there was a lot of excitement and stuff, but Kyle, to be in the room where it happened for this was pretty big. And it was very exciting. It's very cool. We got some concept art. We don't have many details, but even the concept art alone is very exciting. The new land will be home to the Disney villains we know and loathe from our favorite Walt Disney Animation Studios classic films, which means happily ever after may feel like just a distant dream. Now, I can't help but feel like this is a little bit of an answer to a whole Monsters Land coming to a rival theme park. At least that's where my head goes.
Well, there's a Monsters Land coming to Walt Disney World too, Jeff.
Oh, Monsters, Inc. That's a very different kind of monster. Sorry, that does not compete. But the evil ambition of all these villains means that the possibilities are endless for the stories that can be told, and visitors to the dark and thorny land, that means Maleficent will be there, should be prepared for whatever chaos might come their way. Do you think we'll be getting a fire-breathing Maleficent that doesn't catch on fire?
I don't know. If it does catch on fire, Deadpool will be there to mock it.
That's right. That was some funny stuff going on there. But the space is going to be home to 2 major attractions, dining and shopping, on an incredibly twisted grand scale. So this sounds epic. No pun intended. This sounds really, really, really huge. So land preparation is already underway at Magic Kingdom for this new land. And I don't believe we got any sort of date, correct?
Nope. TBA, which does not stand for Tiana's Bayou Adventure in this case.
Is that a thing? Does that sometimes stand for that?
Legitimately, when I looked at the D23 schedule and there was a TBA panel, I thought that it was a Tiana's panel because, we Disney fans use abbreviations, and so they've been abbreviating Tiana, and it's been messing me up.
Very funny. You know what I'm loving about all these announcements? I do feel like we went into a trend for a while with theme parks where a brand new quote-unquote land would open, and it would be like one ride or attraction, and that would be it. And they would build a whole land around it with perhaps some food and merch options. But with so many of these, including this next one, 2 Cars attractions are announced for Frontierland at Magic Kingdom. So once again, 2, that's pretty great. So we got 2 for this, 2 for Avengers Campus, 2 for the villains thing. So very cool. In a reimagined area of Magic Kingdom's Frontierland, it's going to welcome guests to experience the American West in a new and ever-changing way. One attraction will take guests on a rally race through the mountains, and a second attraction will be geared towards families. Work will begin on this new space in early 2025. And the big news that has come from this, of course, the rumors started flying. Where is this going? Where is this going? And it was quickly confirmed by Disney, which, before we get into that, I'm gonna talk about this for a second. So if you might remember, at least I remember, being in the room when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was announced at a D23 event. And what they didn't tell us was the Great Movie Ride was closing to make way for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But sitting in that audience, I do remember immediately getting press releases in the email saying Great Movie Ride's last day will be such and such. And so it was, okay, good news in person, excitement, bad news in the email, basically happening right around the same time. So I'm not going to lie, a lot of these announcements that came out, I was like, okay, where is this going? And I was refreshing my email and I was looking and waiting for those press releases to come through. They've learned a lesson. They did not tell us immediately through email what would be going away in order to make room for some of these things. But they did a couple days later, and it has been confirmed that this Cars Land will be taking over a great portion of the Rivers of America, Liberty Square, Tom Sawyer Island. So Frontierland,
Liberty Square, at least the water part.
Yeah, and from hearing the Liberty Bell is gone. That's what like the maps are showing, that the Liberty Bell will be gone. And what I'm hearing, and who knows if this is true or not, you're going to be entering the Villain's Land by Haunted Mansion. So who knows, that land could perhaps gobble up or be the entrance, or Haunted Mansion could become the entrance of that land and become part of that. I don't know. Hall of Presidents, who knows? I mean, that is not confirmed. That's all rumor stuff. But Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, and it looks like a small portion at least of Liberty Square will be going away, which means, you know, a lot of people are upset about this. And, you know, I think it's a beautiful view, and I do hate to see that go away. Like, I think the water features, landscaping, all that stuff is very, very important in a theme park. I know that it's not as flashy or anything, and you can't like market that, so I get it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't tell you if I've ever been on Tom Sawyer Island at Magic Kingdom. I really don't know. I may have as a kid. I know I have at Disneyland, but I don't know if I have at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I probably have too, and I couldn't tell you the last time I've been there, if I have been there. And yeah, I've always just kind of viewed it as inferior because, yeah, they don't need it for Fantasmic. They only got the one boat, as far as I know. They don't got the other boat. So yeah, I don't really care that much, honestly.
Yeah, some people are very upset. Some friends of ours are very upset. For me, it's more, does Cars fit into Frontierland? And I'm sure they'll shoehorn it in.
They're expanding it. They're kind of using Frontier and the adventurous, like the next
Disney
Frontier.
Adventure World?
No. We're not Adventureland either. But yeah, no longer making it literal, like the settling of the West anymore. Because there wouldn't be cars. Unless, these are sentient cars, so I don't know if that's different. I don't know if it's like an alternate 1800s or something where sentient cars exist.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a very different looking Frontierland and a construction mess. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where the construction walls end up. It could be kind of a bottleneck nightmare for a while there. But this no date on these, or they said they're starting to break ground early 2025, but no opening date.
Right.
So there's that.
But before we leave this topic, can I ask you a question about something that was potentially even worse than the closure of any attraction?
Kyle, you can ask me anything you want.
I saw a video of the Shibuya Life is a Highway performance. Was it as bad in the room as it was on the video?
I have zero memory of it.
Okay. 'Cause it sounded really bad. Like,
honestly, I was probably there was sound issues in general in that space. I'm telling you, like, that's why I had to read the teleprompter with that song. Anytime, basically, if somebody was holding a mic up to their mouth, it was okay. I could understand what they were saying. If they had a body mic, like a lav, it was very muffled and on top of crowds being loud. I was just like, I don't really know what's being said here. So it was a problem. You want them
to have a Britney Spears mic.
A Britney Spears mic, or just handhelds, you know, and or just get a better sound mixer. Like, I understand that those sorts of venues aren't the easiest places to mix sound, but at the same time, concerts do it all the time, but this never got to the level of volume of a concert. You know, concerts...
Not even for the Mad Tea Party band?
Not even for the Mad Tea Party. In fact, that was kind of a pre-show, and I was already having issue with the sound there. And I have, like, really good hearing. Doctors have told me I have superior hearing.
The best hearing. Nobody's got hearing like this.
Please don't ever compare me to that man ever again. But it's true. Doctors have been like, wow, your hearing is kind of insane. Like, I have long distance hearing. So I was like, whatever, I'll take it. So I'm like, if I'm having trouble with this, I can't believe you just did that, Kyle. Oh my God. Ah, man. If I couldn't understand it, I feel like a lot of people had difficulty understanding it. And like at a concert in those venues, it's usually so loud you want to put in earplugs. It never got anywhere near that. And I'm not saying that's what I wanted, but I did want clearer audio for a show that's about, announcements. But to answer your question, I don't remember that band. I'm sure it was totally muffled. I was probably looking at my phone for press releases to see if they were going to announce something closing.
Fair enough.
That's where we were. Let's move on from there, though, because news that I don't think anybody's upset about. A new Magic Kingdom nighttime parade called Disney Starlight has been announced. So that means Paint the Night is still somewhere. In fact, I think I saw it as we were driving from Honda back to the Anaheim Convention Center. We drove by like these warehouses that had the big elephant doors or garage doors open. Definitely saw some parade floats, and I was like, is that Paint the Night? So in any case, it's still safe and sound from what I can tell. But I know that Magic Kingdom fans have wanted a new nighttime parade there for a very long time. Of course, this is inspired by Main Street Electrical Parade, and it's going to feature movies like Frozen, Encanto, Peter Pan, and more in some brand new floats. So that's exciting news, and it's set to debut summer of 2025.
I did like that they made a joke in one of the songs. I think it was one of the Darren ones about glowing away and how it never dies.
Yep. Funny stuff. Anything else you want to add about the parade?
I don't know if I ever got to see Spectro Magic.
Oh, Spectro Magic was amazing. Oh, so good.
I've seen the Electrical Parade enough times for several lifetimes, so I would like to see something new.
Ba-da-bam, bam, 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 ba-da. That was the Spectro Magic music, and it was so good. Anywho, let's move on because Spaceship Earth Lounge has been announced, and we got some updated concept art for the Pirates of the Caribbean Lounge, which will be at Magic Kingdom. And a Spaceship Earth Lounge, where's this going to be going exactly? Oh, located in the former AT&T Siemens sponsor lounge, offering a beautiful view of Dreamers Point and World Celebration. So this is kind of
a win for regular day guests instead of those fancy people.
Yeah, so this is going to be at like the base of Spaceship Earth. I know exactly where this is going. So this will be cool. It looks kind of, the concept art looks fairly generic looking, but I'm sure it will be nice. And we get a new lounge it's not a DVC lounge or a sponsor lounge.
And both of those will be 2025.
And the new lounge is inspired by the stories, shapes, and enduring legacy of the timeless icon Spaceship Earth. Taking inspiration from the geometric sphere, the Zen space for families to gather and enjoy refreshments will be draped with rich textures and warm metallic tones, giving it a mysterious and elegant intimacy.
Can metallic tones be warm? By their very nature, aren't they usually cold?
I think if it's like a copper, it can be warm.
Okay.
Yeah. If you give it a warm color, I think it can be warm. Also, the Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge, which was announced at Destination D23 last year. They gave us some updated work on this. This is going to be a watering hole offering a haven for all pirate kind, big and small, and everyone in between. Here, bandits and buccaneers to be from every corner of the seven seas are welcome to join together and raise a toast to the pirate life. And do we know where this one's going?
It's right near pirates.
Really? That makes sense.
It does.
Cool. So some new lounges coming. Reimagined test track to open in 2025 at Epcot. So the current version is currently closed. It is currently being reimagined. And they still didn't give us a ton of details other than a date. This is, of course, the third iteration of this attraction. And yeah, it's going to celebrate innovation while highlighting the past, present, and future. The queue will feature 6 distinct exhibits, and within each room celebrate the vehicles and people behind the vehicles that push the envelope and help get people to our next chapter in our motion journey. New show scenes will be added, showcasing technological advances and how our lifestyles and relationships to mobility connect everyone. Enjoy a joyride through scenes focusing on onboard technology, customization, and personalization, followed by a trip through a scenic outdoor route, reminding us of all the joys of driving, taking in the world around us, and spending quality time with friends and family. Construction on this reimagined experience has already begun, and eagle-eyed visitors might already have picked up on the fact that the new exterior harkens back to the original pavilion design. So that's cool. Some more throwback stuff happening in Epcot.
Sounds cool.
Now let's touch on the Monsters Land that you referred to earlier, because Monsters Inc. Land is coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios with first ever Disney Parks suspended coaster. Now, this has been, rumored for I think over a decade at this point, right?
You know, Josh kind of talked about this when he was making his speech about it, but honestly, the first memory I have of watching a Disney movie and thinking that's going to be a ride was the Doors scene in Monsters, Inc. So, yeah, I'm definitely not the only person to think that. It's been a rumor forever, and now it's going to be a reality. And agnostic of where this ends up being, I'm really excited for this because Monsters, Inc. is my favorite Pixar movie. I remember how excited I was just going into the queue for the Tokyo flashlight tag Monsters, Inc. And they have like the Monsters, Inc. Lobby that you walk through, and how cool that was. So the fact that there's going to be like an entire Monstropolis land, I'm very excited about.
Yeah, and they brought out Billy Crystal, the voice of Mike Wazowski, to help announce this. It picks up after the events of Monsters, Inc., where humans have now been invited to visit the worlds of Monsters, Inc., and the monsters need laughter to power the city and keep it running smoothly. But it's not a true visit without the factory itself. You'll be able to see the sights, hear the laughs, and zoom through the building just like James P. Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, and Mike Wazowski, via a door. The land will include the long-rumored Door Coaster, which will be Disney's park's first ever suspended coaster. So, yeah, we should talk about the fact that the rumors are that this will be
There's competing rumors. You can't say that it's the rumor. In fact, the article that people are saying is proof that it's going to the one area contradicts itself among its sources. So
Kyle is very heated about this.
I'm not heated about it. I just think it's weird. And that's partially Disney's fault for not saying. It's 100% Disney's fault for not saying where it's going. But I'm just saying, it's also funny the way people read it the way they want to read it.
Yeah, so to me, the thing that makes sense is Animation Courtyard, right? The Star Wars launch bay needs to go away. I mean, I've heard rumors. I don't have no idea whether or not there's any sincerity to this, but like that this coaster might take over Rock and Roller Coaster. I don't know. But that's right there if they do
Speaking of long-running rumors.
Yeah, I know. What have they said? Hannah Montana, Powerline. Everybody has thoughts on what should be the next band.
When the thing closes for a day, people are like, oh, they're getting rid of Aerosmith. No,
yeah, Animation Courtyard to me makes the most sense, assuming we can keep The Little Mermaid, which is being redone. The, Voyage of the Little Mermaid redo. This is, also possibly, rumors are saying that it's possibly taking over the Muppet Courtyard, which of course would be heartbreaking and very, very sad. But also, I gotta say, there was like no Muppets representation at this expo other than the Miss Piggy thing. And even that, like, she didn't show up. This is the first D23 convention I can remember. This may not be factual, but that I can remember where the Muppets haven't performed somewhere in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that means anything. I'm just saying that makes me sad.
Yeah, I don't know. Frank Oz was there too. I know he also did not have a puppet on him, but
honestly, I assumed he was going to be at the Miss Piggy thing in the archive stage, which is part of the reason why I went. Or at the very least, I assumed Piggy would show up and say something, but it was only via video. So I don't know, but did you still see that Bill Prady the creator or co-creator of The Big Bang Theory, who also wrote Muppet Vision 3D, he actually posted about this possibility online, where he said, "Of all the things I've written, I might be most proud of Muppet Vision 3D. If this is truly the end of its run, I'm glad for its time on Earth and the joy of making it. It was the last thing Jim Henson directed." So yeah, I think, it's had a very nice long run, but it would make me very sad to see that go away. And I think it's a fun little area. And it just brings me back to old school Disney MGM Studios, which of course I love. So we'll see. I wish they would just say where it was going, though.
Yeah. And, I think the animation courtyard, also sort of a joke at this point, totally is a better place to kill.
Okay, let's move over to Disney's Animal Kingdom, where a new Encanto attraction and carousel is coming there, as well as, the whole Tropical America's land. So new details were revealed for Pueblo Esperanza, which takes over the area currently known as Dinoland USA. See, it's not so hard. Just tell us. Tell us where it's going. The area will feature a carousel with wood-carved animal characters from Disney stories, as well as an Encanto-themed attraction. And also, we're getting a brand new Indiana Jones experience coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom, which will, of course, take over Dinosaur, same ride system that's at Disneyland, but a new story, they're saying. So that's exciting. And that'll be part of the Tropical Americas. Either of those you're looking super forward to?
I think they'll both be pretty cool. And they are. So the Encanto one, it sounds like you'll go through Casita and you'll be there for the moment that Antonio gets his gift to I actually never seen the movie, talks to animals and stuff, right? So that's kind of the animal work in addition to just continuing the theme. They have Africa, they have Asia, now they'll have the Tropical Americas, which is basically South and Central America, that sort of region.
Yeah, and Josh D'Amaro did make a point to say that we will have time to experience Dinosaur one last time. So it sounds like, work will begin on this, but
it'll be in phases.
It'll be in phases, and Dinosaur's going to remain open probably for as long as it can because, it's a ride in a park that needs rides. But was there any dates related to this?
I think it's starting construction next year, I think is what it said.
Awesome. We also have an opening time frame revealed for the new Zootopia experience at Disney's Animal Kingdom, which is taking over It's Tough to Be a Bug. So this will be opening in the park in the winter of 2025. So get in your last It's Tough to Be a Bug experiences. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the last It's Tough to Be a Bug, right? It was only ever here at Walt Disney World and Disney California Adventure, right?
I think so. And at least this one, when it's closing. The other one closed retroactively.
Yeah, that was sad. Such a good attraction, but that's happening. Oh gosh, Disney Cruise Line shooketh. 4 more cruise ships, bringing the fleet to 13 ships, meaning that if no new theme parks are built by the time the 13th ship is on the seas, that means there will be more Disney cruise ships than there are Disney theme parks around the world, which is wild.
So to be clear, that includes the 5 that are currently sailing. Mm-hmm. Then you have the Treasure, the Adventure, which is the one in Singapore, the Destiny, the one that was announced for OLC, which will be over in Japan, then 4 more.
Correct. So that's crazy. That's a lot of ships. Man, they're making bank on the ships, apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot of investment up front, but they said during the most recent earnings call that the ships earn back their investment very quickly.
Yeah, because they're very expensive. Those cruises are very high priced, but apparently that's the cruise business. So there you go. We also got a Disney Hercules show coming to the Disney Destiny in 2025. So that'll be fun. And a Tale of Moana show coming to the Disney Treasure. So the stage shows on Disney Cruise Line are great. Happy to see that. Over at Disneyland Paris, the Lion King log flume attraction coming to Disney Adventure World. Can I just say, when I saw this is basically Splash Mountain, but Lion King themed.
Did you catch the discrepancy with this?
Yeah,
artwork?
So they said it was going to be based on the animated film, but the artwork is definitely the live action film. I'm hoping what they said is true because I would much
They've confirmed that the art was from when they were developing it, but I don't know why they didn't think to fix it ahead of time. How hard could it be?
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, that's the official line, is that it will be the animated version, even though the concept art is wrong.
I wish one of the domestic parks was getting this. Since we closed both Splash Mountains, I wish
Get on a plane, Jeffrey.
I can. Oh, I got to get on a plane to get to Florida, too. But come on, we all know that Tiana makes way more sense at Disneyland. We should have just done Tiana here and Lion King in...
And then co-opted into Adventureland?
Yeah.
Instead?
Hello, there are cars, and well, they could have even, shoehorned it into Frontierland if they wanted, because they're just doing what they want. But I would have, Lion King, it looks great. Looks like a lot of fun.
And so this officially, without saying it, if you look at the concept art, that version of Galaxy's Edge that was supposed to come to Paris around that, finally we can stop pretending that that's happening.
There we go. We're also getting a World of Frozen and Disney Adventure World opening in 2026. They'd told us about this before. Yeah.
With the opening of that, that's when the name change to Disney Adventure World will commence. So 2026 will be when it changes over.
Nice. And a nighttime show is coming to Adventure Bay at Disney Adventure World. Looks very World of Color, but apparently 360 degrees like you would find at Epcot. So should be very cool. We got Moana featured in the concept art. A new nighttime show coming to Disneyland Paris in January 2025. There's a projection show on Main Street USA for the first time ever, and on the castle, of course, as well. And that's, I've said it a million times, that castle is stunning. And they seem to get some new regular updates quite a bit. So
yeah,
it's cool. Over at Hong Kong Disneyland, a new attraction has been announced for Stark Expo area of Tomorrowland. A new Spider-Man themed attraction is coming to Tomorrowland, which looks to be a new variation of the popular Tower of Terror type attraction found at other Disney resorts. So that's interesting. I like that. The idea of Spider-Man, catching you with his webs and hurling you up and down could be a lot of fun. And then over at Shanghai Disneyland, a high-thrill Spider-Man coaster has been announced for Shanghai Disneyland, which, Spider-Man, I think, not even arguably, I think it's a guarantee. Even if you're not a Marvel guy like myself, everybody loves Spider-Man, right? Like, Spider-Man is the iconic character. So it doesn't surprise me that we're getting so many new Spider-Man attractions. It's the gateway character, right? Like, Spider-Man is the gateway drug of Marvel. I said it.
Now, it'll be fun to see if any of these new Spider-Man attractions live up to the one that's been there for 20 years. Not there.
You mean Islands of Adventure?
Exists, yes.
Yeah, the Islands of Adventure Spider-Man attraction is really, really, really hard to beat. It also has the benefit of being pretty family-friendly. This one is a high-thrill coaster, and the other one, like Tower of Terror, that automatically cuts out grandma and grandpa a lot of the time and a chunk of the family who just doesn't like those sorts of thrills. Islands of Adventure has that benefit. You could say Web Slingers does as well, but I think everybody would agree it's just not as good. But more Spider-Man, so yay. And then that's it, I think. That's it, as if that wasn't enough. Oh, they did get there was Epic Games news. I'm not going to get into that because I don't think people listening are gamers necessarily. But basically, they're adding to Fortnite some Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel, Disney content on there. So that's that. Anything you want to add about the parks panel that we haven't touched on?
No, I thought it went pretty well I wasn't there, but I watched the videos afterwards. I will say that I don't care how the musical elements went over in the room, but for me, I appreciated being able to catch up on writing up the news that was just announced while y'all took a break and listened to a song. So thank you for that. That was well structured, because the hardest part of covering these events from the other side is they'll announce something, you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll go write about that. And then something huge is announced, and then you feel stupid that you're spending time on something so minuscule in comparison. And that didn't really happen this time because there was a nice flow for it.
I love that, Kyle. That's great. Perfect. Let's move on to the night one panel, which was the movies and such. We're going to go through this real quickly because the park stuff took a long time. And frankly, I think more people are interested in that. So I'm happy to take the time with that one. But let's go through the movie news. So Moana 2 is coming out November 24th, 2024. We heard a new song, which I don't remember immediately off the top of my head, but I do remember.
You can watch a video of it on Laughing Place's YouTube channel.
There you go. I do remember thinking, this is a fun, catchy tune, though.
And since it hasn't been released yet, it hasn't been copyright claimed.
Ah, there you go. And now the news that blew my mind and I was so excited about, and perhaps listeners don't know this, but the most macho thing about me is my love for monster trucks. So when Dwayne The Rock Johnson, announced an all-new film called Disney Monster Jam, of which there were very little details, I kind of lost it. I gasped like crazy, and just seeing the official Monster Jam logo with Disney above it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be fantastic. So I'm excited. There was a monster truck movie by Paramount or something, right? That completely bombed.
It sounds vaguely familiar now that you mention it.
I think it was called Monster Trucks or something. I never saw it, to be fair, but I'm excited for Disney to do a Monster Jam movie. I really am excited. I hope it's a live action, something phenomenal sort of thing. So should be fun. We also got Avatar, of course, the third film we got a name for. Fire and Ash is the official name for it. It's coming out on December 19th, 2025. And then Pete Docter came out to talk about the long gestating series Win or Lose, which we got a trailer for and a debut date. It'll be on Disney Plus December 6th, 2024.
This was announced 4 years ago during that Disney Plus Investor Day.
Crazy. And then another new series was announced coming in 2025 from the world of Inside Out. Dream Productions will follow the studio inside Riley's mind who produces her dreams. The 4-episode series will debut in 2025. I think this is a very clever way of, banking on that franchise that does very well, but like not disrupting the timeline by just making it her dreams. Kind of a stroke of genius, whoever came up with that.
Yeah, and this is another one that we've basically known about for a while, and they weren't really trying to hide it, including in the name of one of the panels the following day, but it's nice to have it officially confirmed.
And then the delayed Elio received another shout out along with the announcement that Zoe Saldana is joining the cast. Elio releases in theaters June 13th, 2025. Is that Pixar or Walt Disney Animation?
That one's Pixar. And
Pixar.
You say joining the cast. It seems like she might be replacing America Ferrera. It looks like they might have changed the story a little bit, but that I don't know if that's been confirmed. It's just reading the description of it. That's the way it seems.
All right. Hoppers is the newest Pixar film to be announced, following an original tale about a girl who is able to hop into the consciousness of a robot beaver. It'll debut in theaters in 2026. And we got confirmation that Andrew Stanton will be directing Toy Story 5, along with a plot saying that the toys are fighting for the children's attention against technology. This film will debut on June 19th, 2026.
From John Carter, director Andrew Stanton?
That's the one.
Wow.
They're giving him another chance. And then Incredibles 3 was announced. Brad Bird is currently developing...
Already forgot about that.
Incredibles 3. Well, it got a big reaction in the room. People love Incredibles.
Yeah, no, I know they do. That's not a knock on it. I just legitimately forgot.
Yeah. And then Walt Disney Animation Studios made some announcements as well. We got the announcement that the casting of Fortune Feimster in Zootopia 2 will be played by Ke Huy Quan, and people love him. And then let's see, Frozen 3 coming to theaters in 2027, and then Frozen 4 is in the works as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be kind of like a two-parter. Like Jennifer Lee said that the story couldn't just be told in one film. It
was also hinted that an original Walt Disney Animation Studios project will be coming in 2026. And then, the kind of the big crazy thing that happened in this panel for me anyway was that we got news of The Greatest Showman, a stage adaptation being in the works. They did not say Broadway. I talked to them over at the Disney on Broadway Pavilion the next day. And, they're definitely not Broadway. At least that's not what they're saying. They don't even know. It's in development. But, the Fox property, The Greatest Showman, that starred Hugh Jackman, will become a stage presentation, which, frankly, it just feels right for. Ever since I saw the movie, I actually was like, I feel like this would be better on stage. So that's exciting. Also in the Disney theater world, we got Frozen the Musical heading to Disney Plus in 2025. Do you know which cast? Is it original cast or anything?
This is what I wanted to ask you and see if it bothered you, because it's billed as Frozen, the Broadway hit, but the star, Elsa, is the West End lead.
Oh, not unexpected because the unions, that's why a lot of these productions, the pro shots are done in London or somewhere that's not New York City. Apparently, the unions in New York City basically make it nearly impossible to shoot these pro shots or just financially doesn't make sense. So it's always kind of done overseas. I shouldn't say always, very often done overseas. So it doesn't surprise me, kind of doesn't bother me. It's not like it was a star in the role that I was wanting to see or anything. But I'm all for pro shots of theater shows because the more people that can see it, the better.
See, I don't know the rest of the cast, but the Elsa is definitely the West End lead, and she's still on that show. It's just closing in a few months.
Alrighty. So there's that. And then in Star Wars news, we got Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It's the newest Disney Plus original series with Jude Law on hand to share the first trailer.
And some people think they see Fuzzball in it.
From Captain EO, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So Captain EO officially part of the Star Wars universe, perhaps. Interesting. And that's going to come out on December 3rd. Diego Luna previewed the 2025 release of Season 2 of Andor, while Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni previewed the first footage from the 2026 film The Mandalorian and Grogu. As we said, it's going to the big screen now. And then with Marvel Studios, Captain America, Brave New World, and the Fantastic Four, The First Steps, because those were announced at Comic-Con, right?
Neither one was announced at Comic-Con. They just kind of gave update. The new name for Fantastic Four was announced at Comic-Con. I think they already had release dates, if I'm not mistaken. But you never know. With things can always push back right after they announce them. Like they're pretending that those Avengers movies are coming out in 2 years, and I don't know if that's happening.
All right, and then there's Disney Plus's Ironheart, which is releasing in 2025.
And it's probably been done for like a year.
It's just sitting on a shelf?
I have to imagine. I mean, they announced it forever ago.
And then Daredevil Born Again is coming in March 2025 on Disney Plus. So,
nice. And they're already working on a season 2 or developing a season 2 for that show. And that'll be 18 episodes too, like an old school television season.
Yeah. Wow, that never happens anymore. And then we got a new song from Agatha All Along, The Ballad of the Witch's Road. We got a performance by the cast. That series is going to debut on Disney Plus on September 18th, 2024, right after the password sharing ends. Thank you very much.
Our friend who works at Laughing Place, Marshall, wrote a piece about how angry he was that people didn't make a bigger deal of Patti LuPone performing at D23.
I was shocked. I saw Patti LuPone on stage and I was like, holy crap, Patti LuPone is here. That's crazy. But yeah, it was a good performance and a fun number. Another good number. And Bobby and Kristen Anderson Lopez are coming back to write music for that series, who wrote the music for WandaVision. So should be fun, although it looks very different. Very, very different from WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the show looks up your alley. It looks very spooky.
Yeah, I mean, I love...
funny spooky.
The character is a lot of fun, and I think that Catherine Hahn is just fantastic in that role, so I'm looking forward to it. Then Disney Entertainment Television shared details about Season 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, debuting on Disney Plus in 2025. Based on the Sea Monsters, production work has already begun for that. We also get news of an arena tour, Descendants/Zombies, Worlds Collide Tour. And this is going to be an arena tour with cast.
It's not the best of both worlds. It's the worlds colliding. Totally different. Don't confuse it with any Disney legends.
I see what you did there. The thing that kind of blew the mind of the audience was this amazing magic trick done by David Blaine, where we all had a deck of cards and basically a quote-unquote random audience member. I'm not saying it was a plant, but frankly, I can't imagine this being done without it being a plant. Regardless, it was amazing. And he was promoting a new show for National Geographic called David Blaine Do Not Attempt. Very, very, very cool trick. Crowd got very excited. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan came out to announce the name for the Freaky Friday sequel. It's Freakier Friday, hitting theaters in 2025. We also got a look at the next Disney princess live-action film, Snow White, premiering in theaters March 21st, 2025. This got a lot of hate online. I'm not sure why. It looks a lot like the others, and I'll be very curious. The reaction in the room... Oh, speaking of the reaction in the room, I didn't even mention this. When the Cars Land stuff was announced long before we ever knew that it was taking over Rivers of America, the reaction in the room was not great. It was very lackluster.
Well, they said that they're putting cars in Frontierland, and even though he tried to like justify it, it doesn't make any sense in what we think of as being Frontierland. So I completely get that. And I don't think adults are the market for cars. Like, we all know that it's huge with kids.
Yeah. So that was the lackluster thing for parks, and for the film panel, I think it was the Snow White teaser trailer that people just didn't seem to be into. It looks fine to me, I'll see it, but I wouldn't be sad if this kills the live action princess animation trend. But we'll see. And then Stitch, we got the live action Stitch coming to theaters in summer 2025. And then the cast of Tron Ares came on stage to share a brief look at the film, along with the reveal that 9 Inch Nails will be doing the music for the film.
Which begs the question what the difference between Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails are, because Trent Reznor has done plenty of scores, and he basically is 9 Inch Nails, so I wonder why the distinction.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure somebody's getting money that wasn't before. That's my guess.
Probably.
Yep. And then the presentation came to a rousing finish as Mufasa the Lion King shared a first full-length trailer. Previously a teaser trailer, now we get a full-length trailer for that. And that was basically the news with the movie, TV, Disney Plus, and all that stuff.
The Lion King, the Mufasa trailer, I thought it was interesting. I didn't realize it was going to have other characters from the Lion King. Like, it's being told through flashbacks. So it's almost like a Lion King 1.5 sort of thing, where Pumbaa and Timon is like, wait, so this story's not about us? So yeah, I didn't watch the whole trailer, quite honestly. I watched the first few seconds because I was adding it to something, but that's kind of a fun little twist. Hopefully it is actually good and not lazy.
Yeah, when it comes to the live action films I didn't love, The Lion King was the one. But God, it did bonkers at the box office. It did so well. Did. It's the Beyonce magic.
Well, good for Don Hahn, who stopped by our booth and signed our Laughing Place banner. So shout out to former DCTC guest and future, hopefully, Don Hahn.
And current Disney legend, Don Hahn. I saw Don there. I saw a bunch of people there. It was great. It's always fun to see old and new friends and have a great time at... I'm so conventioned out, though. Seriously, in a 2-week period, Comic-Con, Midsummer Scream, D23. I'm done for a little bit.
Well, I was at Gen Con.
Ugh. It's a lot. Tough life, right? It is a lot. But it is a lot. Con life is exhausting.
And you live to tell the tale.
I live to tell the tale, and so far, knock on wood, it's been 4 days and I'm not sick. Haven't gotten sick. My biggest fear was getting COVID at Comic-Con and or Midsummer Scream and being sick and having to skip D23. So the fact that I got through D23, I'm very happy.
And then when I had like a little bit of a cough heading into D23, and I'm like, see how this goes. It could go either way. And it was fine. So the fact that you're not sick and you hung out with me, I also feel good about.
Excellent. Well, fantastic, Kyle. That was the news. There was a lot of news to come out of D23, which is great. A lot of real news. Things will change. Folks, keep that in mind. Things will change. We're talking about stuff that is 4 or 5 years out in some cases. Things will change. But it is all in active development as far as the theme park attractions go and the films and everything. So, yay. So I'll see you at the Descendants Zombies World Tour, Worlds Collide or whatever the heck
100%. I'll fly out for that, and we'll have a grand time.
Sounds good. Excellent, Kyle. Well, I'll talk to you again in a couple weeks.
All right.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think of the Rivers of America being removed at Magic Kingdom for Cars attractions? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569, and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Don't miss any future episodes by subscribing and following Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast on your favorite podcast app, where episodes are available 24/7. And don't forget that tickets are now on sale for the I Put a Spell on You Masquerade, a Halloween costume party taking place in Salem, Massachusetts, at a shooting location from Disney's Hocus Pocus on Friday, September 20th. Learn more and grab early bird tickets with a discount price and bonus giveaway for a little longer at tinyurl.com/SalemParty2024. This episode has been executive produced by Jeffrey Riccio. Gain rewards like Jeffrey, including access to never-before-heard episodes and live-stream Ask Me Anythings, by visiting the Patreon link in this episode's description. Until next time, anything you need can be found in this episode's description. From additional information and links discussed in this episode found in the show notes, contact info to reach me, access to the show's official website, some free gifts from me to you, and so much more. So be sure to check out this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!